Hello friends, two products here, both good products, the Super Clean Foamer and the Zep Foamer. Putting them head to head today, not to put one company or the other down. This is more for those of us, including myself, that are in a logistics twilight zone, surrounded by these, can get them anywhere. I have to drive 10-15 miles out of the way to get these. So the test is kind of proving if I should drive the extra 10-15 miles to get this or just keep buying up these. And maybe this information will help you guys out as well. So let's take a look. One of many areas right here where I like to use these foam degreasers, back in the hatch area of minivans or SUVs, or in the trunk sills where all the mold and mildew and dirt lay, kind of dry up and just wait there until it's time to be detailed and to be cleaned out. Normally I'll lay down a thick layer and go do something real quick, let it dwell for 5 minutes or so, and then come back, agitate with a brush, and that's usually all I have to do, and then follow up with a thorough rinse or grab a pile of old microfibers and wipe it off, mop it up. Besides these areas, the door jambs, under the hood, and the wheels and tires, certain areas where you need it to cling, the product is also great at spot cleaning on fabric, rugs, carpet upholstery, and it's actually a good spotter for headliner. Dab a little of the foam on a microfiber towel, put it up there up against the headliner, let the foam cling and dwell up there for a few minutes. Break down the dirt or spot or whatever you're trying to remove and mop clean with a clean microfiber. It works pretty well. So after a couple minutes, I'll just come back with a few brushes, some detailed brushes, and whichever one I can fit in the area I'm trying to clean, I'll just get in there and agitate a little bit, and that's usually enough the first time where I only have to do a thorough rinse. And the area is good to go. Time to move on. The Super Clean did very well on its side. We're going to go to the Zep side, come in and do the exact same thing, agitate with a detail brush, do a thorough rinse. I'm already starting to notice a few things between the two products. I will hold on to those thoughts for a moment here because we're going to move on. We're going to step up the testing a bit after this. Alright, so we're going to head out of the shop here and we're going to see how these two do head-to-head against grease. A thick layer of grease. We're going to see how they do against oil. We'll see how they break down and remove dirt and grime from carpet, fabric, and upholstery. We'll see how these do against each other, fighting mold and mildew. Alright, so we'll start off the testing fast and furious here. We're going to hit an engine block with a thick layer of grease and oil. We'll put a layer of each side by side, let it dwell, see what it does as it dwells and works on the layer of grease here. I can kind of see on either side of the layer of foam some browning, turning dark as it breaks down and lifts a little bit. The Zep side, I see nothing happening of the sorts in that matter. Let me come in here as I usually do and move things around a little bit, agitate the area and see if we can break anything loose. I could see down to the right of that bolt head there, we are getting a little bit of the aluminum block showing. Like right there, we could see a little bit more. So there is some breaking down the grease and layer of grit that's on there. So there is a little bit of work going on. Let's see if we can do the same thing over here on the ZEP side. Also keep in mind, guys, this kind of testing here is extreme for this type of product, this foamer. It's not a super concentrate degreaser, liquid that we're spraying on there expecting to melt everything off at once. And as you noticed there, I had to work quite a bit harder to get anything showing through the layer of grease. And we're going to move on to a huge stain on some carpeting. I use the foamers here for spotting on carpets, upholstery, and a little bit on headliners, and it seems to do a great job breaking down and lifting dirt on fabric as well. I'll let it sit there for a few minutes and I'll take the top layer of foam off. We'll dab and keep doing that until both areas are completely dry, and we'll see which one did a better job. An obvious difference between the two on cleaning carpet, lifting and breaking down dirt on fabric and upholstery. Also an obvious difference on the foam itself and the amount that comes out of the nozzle. The foam is a nice, thick, viscous, almost shaving cream type thickness, and the ZEP, you have to hold twice as long to get the same amount of foam out of the canister itself, and it's not quite as thick. It's a little bit more runny, and you'll see that here. Here's a great area to test for oil. Huge oil drum here. We're going to lay down 2 stripes going down the side of the drum, and we'll see which one is quicker, see which one is more efficient. Here we can see the Super Clean foam still hanging there. It's hanging in pretty well, breaking down a great deal of that oil and dirt and taking it down. And when we go over to the ZEP, it's gone. It's going somewhere. It's running away from the job. So we have a huge difference here as well, guys. And here we have years of growth, mold, mildew, fungus, all kinds of stuff clinging to the side of this old trailer. We'll lay down 2 stripes again, and we'll do practically the same test, except for this one here. I'll wait for 5 minutes. I'll come in with a soft bristled brush, agitate a little bit, and see which one has lifted that mess. All I'm doing here is applying very light pressure as I'm running the brush down the side of the trailer here, and it has removed everything all the way down to the metal. As I do the exact same thing to the ZEP side, I'm not getting much of anything at all as to a reaction as to breaking down the muck hanging off this trailer. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. 2 good products. I have a certain purpose where these come into play at the shop, so they're needed. This one here has a more viscous foam, a more aggressive foam, a more powerful foam. It kind of proves that I should drive the extra 10-15 miles out of the way to grab a couple more of these. I use these daily, like I said, for certain situations, door jams, under hood, in the trunk area, and areas where I needed to cling for a certain amount of time, long enough for the product to do its work, do its magic, break down the oil, break down the grease, the dirt, the grime, and so I can do my job and remove it. So I hope that information helps you guys out, as it did me. I didn't know the answer to which one would be better. I didn't know how the test would turn out in the beginning either myself. So that's some interesting conclusion here we have formed. If you have any questions or you'd like to add another product that works like these do, clinging to the surface as it breaks down, as it dissipates the dirt, oil, grease, and grime, and then you can remove it. Brian from Apex Detail. We'll catch you in the next one.